Being an INFJ is not easy, and sometimes it can be hard for me to explain my personality to others. I decided that one of the best ways to do this would be to create a video that would explain INFJs. In this video, I will explain some of the reasons why we are the way we are. First, I find it difficult to let go of things, even when I know it's for the best. This can pose a problem when it comes to close friendships or romantic relationships, as I often find myself clinging on even when it's not necessary. I also have a hard time letting go of grudges and grievances, which can lead to tension and conflict in my life. Overall, I need to learn to be more accepting and forgiving towards others, especially when things don't go my way. Second, INFJs are often quite introverted and need time to themselves to recharge. They may seem shy or reserved at first, but they are actually very deep thinkers who need time to process their thoughts and feelings. INFJs are often very creative and have a lot of ideas, but they can also be quite slow-moving. They need time to explore their interests and find the right words for what they want to say. In general, INFJs are thoughtful people who care about others deeply, but they need time alone to recharge in order to fully express this. Third, I'm very analytical and often find it difficult to trust my instincts. I like to understand why things are the way they are before making any assumptions or decisions. This can make me slow to trust others, as I need to be sure that people have good intentions. However, once I do trust someone, I am fiercely loyal and will do whatever it takes for that person, even if it means sacrificing myself. Fourth, I'm very sensitive and often feel overwhelmed by emotions. I often feel like I need to take things slow and really process things before I act. This can make me seem indecisive or like I don't have a lot of faith in myself. But it's actually just a way for me to be really careful with my feelings and make sure that everything I do is intentional. Fifth, I love spending time with family and friends and enjoy going on trips together. I feel so fortunate to have such a supportive network of people who care about me and love spending time with me. Sixth, I'm a fiercely independent person who likes to do things on my own terms. I'm not one for taking orders or following rules, even if those rules might be important to someone else. I'm always willing to try something new and explore new possibilities, so long as it's safe and doesn't violate my personal values or safety. I also value honesty and integrity highly, so I'll always be straightforward with you about what I think and feel. Seventh, I'm a perfectionist and often feel like I can't do anything right. This can make me feel anxious and overwhelmed, so I constantly need to be reassured that I am doing my best. Additionally, because I am so critical of myself, it can be hard for me to trust my own judgment. This can make it difficult to take risks or trust others. However, by acknowledging my flaws and working on improving them, I hope to become a more confident person overall. Eighth, I'm very intelligent and often have a lot of insights and ideas. I am able to think deeply about complex topics and often come up with original ideas. I also value consensus building and am willing to listen to others' perspectives in order to come to a consensus. I enjoy working on complex problems and find satisfaction in solving them. Ninth, I'm a great listener and often have the ability to understand others better than they understand themselves. INFJs are often described as great listeners. This is because INFJs have a lot of empathy and understanding for others. This makes them excellent at understanding what someone is feeling and why they are acting the way they do. Because of this, INFJs often have a better understanding of others than they do themselves. 10th, I have a deep sense of faith and believe in the power of love and compassion. I believe that love and compassion are the most powerful forces in the world. They can heal wounds and bring people together. They are the light of hope in dark times. I have a deep faith in the power of love and compassion, and I hope that my belief will inspire you to do the same. 11th, I'm a bit of an overachiever and always try to set high standards for myself. Since I was young, I've been driven to achieve the best possible results. I always try to set high standards for myself, so that I can be proud of what I've done. This can sometimes lead to me working excessively hard, which can be stressful and take a toll on my health. However, it's important for me to maintain a strong work ethic in order to achieve my goals. 12. I enjoy reading, writing, poetry, music, etc., especially when it's something that inspires or moves me emotionally. I enjoy reading books with a good storyline, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. I also love writing poetry and music, because they're both forms of expression that allow me to communicate my emotions and thoughts to others. Reading and writing inspire me to do the same, so they're two of my favorite things to do. 13th, I'm a very sensitive person and can be easily hurt, especially emotionally. I often feel like I'm walking on eggshells because anything can set me off. For example, if someone cuts me off in traffic or says something insensitive, I'll usually react negatively. This makes it hard for me to build relationships because I'm not always able to openly express how I feel. However, this also makes me very vulnerable and open to being hurt. 14th, I'm a loyal friend and often stand by people even when they don't deserve it. I'm very supportive of my friends and will often go out of my way to help them. I'm also a very private person, so it can be hard for me to open up to people. However, once I do, I am very loyal and honest. I also have a deep intuition and often know what people are thinking even if they don't say anything. 15th, I'm an idealist and believe that there is more good in the world than bad. I see the potential for good in everyone, even when they don't see it themselves. I try to see the best in people and put my faith in people's potential for goodness. I also have a strong belief that we can change the world if we work together to do so. I think it's important to have hope and believe that there is something better out there for us, even when things seem really tough. 16th, I'm a very spiritual person and often find myself seeking guidance from outside sources. I believe in the power of prayer and am open to the possibility that there is something greater out there that can help guide me along my path. I also have a strong interest in meditation, crystals, and tarot cards. I find comfort and guidance in these practices. I'm a very empathetic person and often feel drawn to helping others when I see them struggling. I enjoy doing things for others or listening to them talk about their life experiences. I believe that by sharing our vulnerabilities with one another we can build stronger relationships. I'm an INFJ and often feel like I need time alone to recharge my batteries before engaging with people again. This doesn't mean that I'm antisocial. It's just that sometimes my intuition tells me it's not the best time or place to be. 17th, I have a strong sense of justice and believe that everyone should be treated fairly regardless of their situation or background. I value honesty and sincerity above all else and find it difficult to fake my feelings. I am often introspective and spend a lot of time contemplating what life could be like if I made different choices. I am also very sensitive to others' feelings and need to be sure that I am always considerate of the people around me. I strive for authenticity in all aspects of my life. I enjoy spending time alone or reading, but also enjoy getting involved in activities with friends. I have a strong sense of intuition and often know what is going on even if no one else does. I prefer to take things slow and carefully consider my decisions before making them. I have a strong moral compass which guides me through difficult times. As INFJ, our natural inclination is toward caring for others. We often have a deep need to make the world a better place and see justice done. We are often sensitive to others' feelings and need to be careful not to hurt their feelings. At the same time, we are also resistant to change and may take longer than necessary to make decisions. We value sincerity and honesty above all else, so it is important that we communicate our intentions clearly. We strive for authenticity in all aspects of our lives, even when it might be difficult or uncomfortable. 18th, I have a great sense of humor and can usually see the lighter side of things. I'm usually the life of the party and love to have fun. I'm also very sensitive and can get emotional easily. So sometimes it's hard for me to keep my feelings bottled up. But I try my best not to let my emotions get in the way of my relationships or work. 19th, I'm an artist in some way, whether it's painting, writing, music, etc., although I may not always recognize it at first glance. I have a very creative side, and I often find myself drawn to art in general and painting in particular. I find it incredibly therapeutic to be able to express myself through my work, and it's something that I really enjoy doing. I'm not always sure why or how my artistic side came about, but I'm glad it does because it's a big part of who I am. 20th, I'm a very compassionate person and often feel the need to help others, whether it's through words or action. I care deeply about others and often feel the need to help them in whatever way I can. This stems from my compassionate nature, which makes me want to help people feel comfortable and understood. I also have a strong sense of duty and will often do what I can to help others out, even if it's just a small thing. 21st, I'm not always easy to live with, as I can be quite moody and unpredictable at times. Which can make it difficult to live with me. I also have a strong sense of intuition and I can be very introspective. So sometimes it can be hard for me to share my thoughts and feelings with others. However, I am ultimately a kind person who cares deeply about others, so if you are able to get past my mood swings and understand me better, then I am sure you will enjoy being around me. 22nd, I have a great love for nature and enjoy spending time outdoors in nature or exploring new places. I also enjoy reading, writing, and spending time with family and friends. My favorite thing to do is spend time hiking or exploring new trails. I'm always looking for ways to learn more about the world around me, whether it's through learning about different cultures or the natural sciences. 23rd, I often find myself lost in my thoughts and can be difficult to divert from what's important to me. There's a lot I wish I knew about myself. I often find myself lost in my thoughts and can be difficult to divert from what's important to me. This can lead to frustrating moments when I'm unable to communicate or interact with others, as my focus is on something else. Despite this, I'm deeply passionate about many things and enjoy spending time alone in contemplation. As an INFJ, it's important for me to have time alone to process my thoughts and emotions so that I can grow and learn more about myself. 24th, I'm an introvert by nature and don't always enjoy being around people, although I can sometimes make an effort. As an introvert, I'm naturally drawn to solitude and spending time alone. I don't always enjoy being around people because I find it difficult to open up and be myself. It can take a lot of energy for me to put forth the effort to socialize, which is why I often prefer staying in the background. Despite my introverted nature, I am not shy or antisocial. In fact, I'm usually quite chatty when we're alone. However, when surrounded by people, I tend to be more reserved and quiet. 25th, I have a strong sense of justice and believe that it's our responsibility as humans to do what we can to make the world a better place for everyone, no matter who they are. INFJs are some of the most compassionate people you will ever meet. Our strong sense of justice drives us to do what we can to make the world a better place for everyone, no matter who they are. We believe that it's our responsibility as humans to do what we can to make the world a better place for everyone, and that includes working toward fixing injustices even if it means standing up to those in power. We also have a deep understanding of human nature and know how to read people, which makes us great leaders and counselors. 26. I have a great sense of intuition and often find myself knowing things that others don't know. I often find myself picking up on clues that others might miss, or sensing what someone is feeling even if they are trying to keep it hidden. This intuition can be a great asset, but it can also be difficult to trust because sometimes the things I see aren't actually true. It's important for me to pay attention to my gut feelings, and to trust that they are always telling me the truth. 27th, I'm a very creative person and often find myself coming up with new ideas or solutions to problems that others don't see. I love problem solving, and I'm always looking for ways to make things easier or more efficient for myself and others. I also have a strong intuition, which can help me understand things quickly and make sound decisions. 28th, I'm often misunderstood and judged based on my actions or words, which can make me feel isolated and alone. Despite being one of the most unique and complex personality types, INFJs often find themselves misunderstood and judged based on their actions or words. This can make us feel isolated and alone, as we often fail to understand why people react the way they do to us. However, with a little patience and understanding, we can work to overcome these challenges and build meaningful relationships with others. 29th, I'm a compassionate person and can be easily overwhelmed by strong emotions or chaotic situations. I often need to take a step back and calm down before I can effectively problem solve or make decisions. This can make me feel shy or inadequate, but it's really just a sign of how deeply I care about people and the world around me. 30th, I have a great sense of humor and enjoy making people laugh, even when things are tough, or when I'm not in the mood. I also enjoy spending time with friends and family, even if we're just sitting around watching TV or talking. I'm usually pretty easygoing and don't get too upset unless someone really upsets me, but I can be passionate about certain things. 31st, I'm a very loyal person and will always stand by my friends and family, no matter what. As an INFJ, I am very loyal to my friends and family. I will always stand by them, no matter what. I have a strong sense of morality and ethics, and I take pride in standing up for what is right. I am also very compassionate and will go out of my way to help others. 32nd, I have a strong sense of morality and believe that there are certain things that are just wrong and should not be tolerated. I believe that there are certain things that are just wrong and should not be tolerated. I have a strong sense of morality and believe that there are certain things that are just wrong, no matter who is doing them. This includes things like bullying, sexual assault, and any other kind of harmful behavior. I don't tolerate these kinds of things because they are wrong, and I want to make sure everyone else knows this too. 33rd, I'm often drawn to the mystical and spiritual aspects of life, which can lead me down some interesting paths. I'm very intuitive and often have a gut feeling about things, which can lead me to make some questionable decisions. I'm generally a compassionate person, but I can be quite stubborn when I feel like something is important to me. I enjoy spending time alone and am often introspective, lost in my own thoughts. I'm a very loyal friend and will put my whole heart into whatever relationships I have. I'm also quite creative, often coming up with new ideas or concepts that interest me. Lastly, despite my analytical nature, I do have a soft side and can be easily moved by the emotions of others. 34th, I have a great love for learning new things and am always trying to expand my horizons in whatever way possible. I thrive in a complex and stimulating environment, and I can be quite an introvert at times. I am very honest and loyal to those close to me, but can also be quite intense and stubborn when I feel like something is important to me. In terms of relationships, I tend to take things slow and deep while also being very sensitive. I am not always the most outgoing person, but once I get to know someone, they are very close to my heart. 35th, I often find myself wondering why certain things happen and what the meaning of life is. 36th, I'm a very creative person who is constantly exploring new ways to express myself artistically or creatively. 37th, I often find myself lost in my thoughts and don't really notice or pay attention to the world around me. 38th, I'm a very independent person and don't like being told what to do or how to do it. 39th, I'm often highly intuitive and have a great sense of intuition about people and situations. 40th, I'm a very compassionate person who wants to help others as much as possible, even if I don't always know how or why. 41st, I'm a very private person and don't like sharing too much about myself with others. 42nd, I'm often very quiet and reserved, which can make it difficult to get to know me. 43rd, I have a great sense of humor and enjoy making people laugh, even when things are tough, or when I'm not in the mood. 44th, I'm often drawn to the natural world and find peace and solace in nature. 45th, I have a strong spiritual connection to the universe and believe that there is more to life than we can possibly understand or imagine. 46th, I'm a very loyal person who will stand by someone, even if that person does or says things that make me angry or upset. 47th, I often find myself feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, which is why I love spending time alone and in quiet contemplation. 48. I have a great sense of intuition about the future and often know things before they happen, or at least have a strong suspicion. 49. I'm a very passionate person who loves taking risks and exploring new opportunities, both in life and in my creative pursuits. 50th. I'm highly analytical and tend to think through every decision carefully before making it. 51st. I'm very caring and compassionate, especially when it comes to others who are vulnerable or in need. 52nd. I have a strong sense of justice and believe that everyone should be treated fairly and with respect. 53rd. I'm a very deep thinker who can often spend hours lost in my own thoughts, exploring whatever topic interests me at the moment. 54th. I have a great sense of humor and enjoy making people laugh, even when things are tough, or when I'm not in the mood. 55th. I'm often drawn to the spiritual realm and find peace and solace through prayer and meditation. 56th. I love spending time alone or with friends and family members, either indoors or outdoors enjoying nature or activities together. 57th. I'm very loyal and protective of those close to me, especially if they're vulnerable or in danger. 58th. I'm a very creative person who is constantly exploring new ideas and possibilities, both in my personal life and in my professional pursuits. 59th. I often find it difficult to express myself openly and freely, which is why I love writing or speaking, as a way to communicate my thoughts and feelings sincerely. 60th. Overall, I'm an introverted but highly energetic person who loves spending time alone or with those I care about most.